And welcome to Biker Angle. We are live. How you guys doing out there? Can you hear me all good? Welcome, Biker Angle. What is up, everyone? It is 9/29 of 2018. Again, we are live, and boy, what a show we got today. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff today. We're going to get a lot of questions in from this previous week's video. I figure we'll do that kind of stuff during the week because Saturdays are now going to be at 9:30. I know I'm real late today, but I had to really set up this damn freaking software again, man. It's getting nuts. Hey, what's up, Loss? How you doing? You got an echo? Let me know if you got an echo, Loss. Because I just turned off one of the settings on the live stream for YouTube because I'm going through a different software. It's gone now. Awesome, man. Now, let's get back to the show. Appreciate that, Loss. We're going to be talking about, because I got a question earlier in this week about how some are using RC clubs to circumvent the protocol out there. And you know what? It is actually a good freaking question. Because I know modern times, 2018, all that jive, things have changed out there in the club scene. Now, I haven't been in the club scene for a while after I left the Pistons because of health and all that bullshit. But I do know it's changing out there. All you have to do is look at this morning's video with the kinfolk and see how much it really has changed. If you haven't seen that one yet, it's up and going, man, let me tell you. And in there, one of the biggest things that caught my attention before I go on to this one subject is how they openly went on the internet and said, well, we trust everyone, so we don't do background checks. And this is coming from guys that were banditos, were one percenters and shit like that. So yeah, that shit's really fucking changed out there. You know, you can't trust anybody out there. I don't care if you've known them freaking 10, 15 freaking years and they've never done anything to you. You know, give it one time and, you know, they'll give you the rollover on your ass. But not to run background checks on people coming into a club, especially one going around and acting like they're a one percenter, is ludicrous to me, man. Is it changed that much out there? It's not nothing to take $10, go on the internet and do a basic background check, you know, to find out all the bullshit. And the biggest thing you're looking for is freaking child molesters, man. And, you know, these pedophiles, they're all over now. It's nuts. But you're going to go and say, hey, we trust everybody. Because you know what? I'm getting hit with a lot of emails from kinfolk right now. I actually got them ringing my phone off the hook, right? And it's going to be a good time with that one, going all day with that. But go ahead and check that video out. Also, Motorcycle Madhouse this afternoon. We got Jeff Wilson on. He's going to be talking about what's going on with what happened down in Fort Worth with the Vagos being put up against the wall. Everybody's seen that video going all over the freaking internet. And he explains what went down, what led up to everything, and the whole 9 yards. And this guy's an independent, too. And it was funny. He came out right away and said, you know what, I have always heard about this motorcycle profiling, and I always thought, hey, you know, this can't be happening like they say they are, until it happened in his shop. And he's like, you know what, that totally changed my mind on how things were being conducted. But let's go back to this RC thing. Now, a lot of people don't understand a motorcycle club. I have to put it out there straight away. And you know, I know there's been responses from Chuck and stuff like that from Backroad Bikers, and I'll get that in a second. But let's be honest, man. Motorcycle clubs, it's a street thing. Always has been, always will be. It's never going to change. And people need to start understanding that. You know, especially the ones that running around saying, well, we live in a free country, we can do what we want. you're going to have to understand the underground, as I call it, or that's the way it's been for decades. And yeah, on the street, the strong survive. That's just the way life is. And it's not even in motorcycle clubs, man. That's country by country. The weak fall, the strong survive. So you've been getting a lot of people trying to go around and set up a RC club. Okay, cool. That's what I mostly recommend all the time is these RC clubs. Because a lot of people don't understand a motorcycle club takes dedication. It's on a whole different level, even at your mom and pop clubs. And you know what? There's been some hardcore mom and pop clubs out there. I know there are all over the Midwest, especially in Chicago, in Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois. So there's some hardcore mom and pop clubs out there. Shit, you got the Pagawi tribe out there, some hard motherfuckers. They're not one percenters, but they live by a freaking code. And that code is sacred to them. So it's all over right now where I do see the RCs popping up and saying, we're just an RC and shit like that. Well, it's because they don't want to follow the protocols and procedure. And that's something I really don't understand about people who want to start up a club. You got to understand when you start up a club, if you're going to get a clubhouse anyway, which most people will get a clubhouse, you got to have income coming in. And in order to do that, you got to have people coming into your bar. So that's just one of the reasons why you would want to go do the protocol, because once you get hooked up with one of the dominants in your area, not only are you bringing them in your clubhouse, you're also bringing their support clubs in your clubhouse, and you're making tons of money. And you're also at that point being able to go to their parties and having fun and shit like that. So it's beyond me why somebody would want to try to circumvent the protocol shit. And I had one guy put on one of the YouTube videos this week, well, they just do it because they want territory and shit like that. Again, no they don't, man. This shit's been going on since the 60s, and you can hear it from Sonny himself in his one book. The reason why this shit started was because as the bigger clubs started expanding out of their home bases, their states, if you will. Okay, let's take 81 for example. They started expanding out of Cali in the 60s. And they had such a famous name that you had these fucking fake clubs taking their property, taking their name and trying to live off their freaking reputation. So when they started a charter, see, they got charters and chapters. It's two different things, those the way they're set up. But the charter in the area that just got set up would be responsible for making sure that they police it so other clubs wouldn't go and take their shit, their names and shit like that. And then that expanded from there, from them policing themselves to making sure these clubs that were popping up didn't go out there and cause all kinds of bullshit. Because there's a lot of pop-up clubs, especially nowadays, that go out there and cause all kinds of shit. Now, I'll keep on the 81 example. 81 is the most recognized name in the world. Or Hell's Angels, I'm sorry, not 81. We call them 81. But they're the most recognized name out there. A civilian does not know the difference. And when I talk civilian, I'm talking a regular day Joe, whatever, that's out on the freaking street going around doing his fucking bullshit. Hummity, doing his bullshit. Anyway, they do not know the difference between clubs. And when you have a club going out there causing bullshit to the civilians, guess what? They go straight to the dominant, the freaking cops. And that causes all kinds of headaches that they didn't have in the first fucking place. So that's the reason for protocol. So to try to go and say, hey, one percenters are dominants, fuck you, blah, 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 they're just trying to control us. No, they're trying to keep the club scene respectable. And nowadays, it's more important than ever. because you got a lot of these clubs, like I said in the beginning, not doing background checks. They're taking in fucking pedophiles. They're not even doing background checks. And if you watch the video about kinfolk, and you know what? I gotta be freaking honest. At first, when they started up, we did an article on them on Insane Throttle. And the reason why we did an article about them was because they were ex-banditos. So they went, and it's not no joke trying to get a patch from the banditos. So these members went through the process. They did the hang around, the prospect time, and got their patch in the banditos. Well, internal politics, you know how that shit goes. They fought, blah, blah, blah. They left. So they decided, fuck this, and we want to start our own club. So that's what they did. So you can't really go out there and bash them because they're ex-one percenters. They went through the process, all that kind of shit. So you think it was legit at first. So yeah, we did an article way back when they first started saying, hey, you know, you're doing your fucking thing, good for you. That, you know, again, it's survival of the fittest on the streets, man. If you can stand there and defend yourself, who the hell are me or you or anybody else to say, hey, you can't do that? Well, they're holding their own, they're doing their fucking thing. But I don't know what the fuck happened during that period to now, because it's become a real freaking joke. You know, you got people burning your fucking colors on the internet. You got people out there freaking from your own crews fucking putting your club business on the internet. And most of all, you got cops in your club. How the hell do you put a cop, an active duty, or an ex-cop in your one percenter club? I have no idea. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, there's some other clubs that have done that. Yeah. And they went out and proved their damn selves, man. You know, that one shit, there was a famous one called Gorilla out of the fucking Pagans. And, you know, when Rooster was the national president, because, you know, Rooster, man, he's a bad motherfucker. He now runs Suit Our Soldiers. And that man went to jail, never talked. He's actually on appeals right now. He's a hardcore dude, man, from the 80s. And he even said, hey, when we let him in, he had to prove himself. He had to put in work and shit like that. So, yeah, is there times that they're going to be ex-cops or, you know, active duty cops? The active duty, I know that's not the case, but ex-cops, yeah. But for an RC to go, you know, to try to circumvent it, it's just beyond me. I really don't understand it. I don't understand how you're going to make your money at the clubhouse. But again, who am I? You know, most of these guys with the pop-up clubs, they go around. You'll see them taking pictures in their, you know, backyards and shit like that. And their space is that. It's their backyard. You know, if you're in a club, man, you want to get out there, you want to party, you want to enjoy every goddamn thing. So, not going by protocol, hey, that's your fucking choice, man. If you want to do your thing, do your thing. I'm an independent. I really don't give a shit. But I thought that was a damn good question to put forward. And yeah, there's a lot of RCs out there trying to act like MCs because they didn't want to do the shit the right way. Again, I don't understand why, because you're not making the money. And just because you're in a motorcycle club don't mean you have to go out there and pull all kinds of fucking street shit either, man. Yeah, there's a lot of the older clubs that did that shit. You know, nobody's gonna deny. And that's one thing I want to say to Chuck. I'm never gonna deny that the big five or, you know, one percenters are goddamn fucking golden childs. There's a lot of shit that plays out on that shit. Again, it's the underworld, man. It's the streets. But you can't take 2 or 3 guys that get busted and shit like that and say the whole fucking group's that way. You just can't do that. And like I said in that video with the IOTC, 5 minutes spent on freaking Google and I found all kinds of shit. I think I found 3 cops in Philadelphia alone that went down. 1 for murder, the other 2 where they detained somebody illegally, and the rest were on fucking child porn fucking shit. So whatever a regular club does, I can find cops that do the same shit. So you know. But I invited Chuck on to the Madhouse, so if he wanted to come on the Madhouse, that's cool. And I did have a statement on Chuck because people were really surprised that I actually, started a debate with Chuck. And one of the comments I had was, I take Chuck for what he is. I enjoy some of his points and disagree for others, waiting for a great debate. And that's dead on there, right? Right there is dead on to me. See, I've used YouTube as a debate forum for Insane Throttle because I can't do these kind of lives over on Facebook because there's too many people on our Facebook. Should people be stepping all over each other? I won't be able to interact with you guys because there'll be like a million questions and I won't be able to get to every damn thing. But when it comes to Chuck, yeah, he's what we call a scooter tramp. And there's scooter tramps in all aspects of the lifestyle, even clubs. They love their fucking bikes. They're mostly the guys that have the rat rods. They'll ride the motherfuckers to hell and get a new one. They live off them bikes. And Chuck, he does a lot of fucking riding. But Chuck talks a lot of shit too, and he's opinionated. That's the way Chuck is. You gotta get through that bullshit to get to a debate. And having a debate is what this country needs right now. And you just look at freaking DC. This whole thing with that judge shit going on, man. Everybody knows it's a fucking farce. Everybody knows it's politics. But you got a group of 100 senators holding this country hostage. And it's getting freaking dangerous out there, man. I don't think we've been in a more dangerous position in this country than we have since the 1860s. And a lot of people will say, oh no, that can never happen in modern times. I call bullshit. It can get even worse in modern times with the weapons out there. You got freaking 80% of the military conservative Republicans. The other 20% liberals. So how a civil war would work, you got all kinds of factions that can pull shit together. And there's actually some good YouTube videos out there describing how, something like that could go down. So, yeah, there needs to be a debate. And Insane Throttle will debate anybody, who wants to do it the correct way. Now, if you're going to go out there and fucking blah, 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 raise your ass or show your ass, go fuck yourself then, because I don't got time to play with you. I got too much shit running, going on. So, the debate with Chuck is a good one because, it's both civil. Yeah, I know he goes after other YouTube creators. That's their business. The debate I'm having is on a particular subject. Insane Throttle ain't gonna get into all the fucking drama. That's not who we are. We got too many goddamn people out there to be dealing with to get into a fucking high school fucking spat. So whatever spats them guys had, that's what they have. But I do like debating Chuck because he's got intelligence. And I'm not picking on anybody, man. I'm not saying, hey, this guy's not intelligent, blah, blah, blah. But he does have intelligence. And I can see somewhere he's coming from, and it's like, goddamn, Chuck, you got a tinfoil hat on your ass or some shit like that. But we'll get him on the Madhouse. So we'll continue to debate. The debate was actually over a video I did, and if you haven't seen it, it's here on YouTube, about why most bikers and most civilians don't like cops. And he's got his polls out with the 57% that most people like him. Well, if you go on our video of that, I was like, damn, 98% of everybody who commented on this motherfucker saying go fuck the police. So it's going to be an interesting debate. So let's get to some more questions here. And I'll let you guys answer as I'm watching the chat room now. And I really appreciate you guys coming on board, watching the show and stuff. Again, we're going to do this every Saturday at 9:30. And I figured out the software, so I'll be able to try to get it all over the other platforms too. But another question came in, I think this was from Jose, who's in the chat right now. What's your issue with an MRA wearing a 3-piece patch? And I am taking that as an association, MRA, That's what I'm thinking it is. Jose, if you can let me know, uh, that's what it is. But I'm going to answer it as is an association. You got to remember, I came up in the very early 90s. And before that, we were raised by the Vietnam generation. And the way the club scene worked back then was your three-piece patch guys were your one percenters. And even back then, they didn't have support clubs, by the way. Let me tell you, I'll tell you that in a second. But it was your one percenters that usually wore the three-piece or your outlaw considered type of clubs. Your two-piece patches were mainly, clubs that were, how can I say, mom and pops. It's easier just to say that. And your one-piece patch was for your riding clubs and all that kind of crap. So that's where my mentality's always been, was okay, this is the way I came in this scene, that's the way it was. And I do know shit has changed over time. Everybody wears a three-piece patch now. And it's funny, you need to learn the history of how that all came about, why three-piece patches came, and all that good shit. So if you got time, go read up on that. There's a lot of good freaking videos out there that talk about how the patches came about. So personally, do I have anything against an association wearing them? Well, Jose, you're on the south side, so you gotta know about Llama. They're Latin American Motorcycle Association, and they some badass motherfuckers. I love Llama. Everybody knows I was with the Predadores in the early 90s, and yeah, we were mostly a mixed Latino club. But Llama wears the three-piece, and you know what? They can back their shit up, Llama, man. They're worldwide, and there's some cool people in there. Only thing I don't agree with Llama is they let broads wear the three-piece, and me and letting broads wear patches, I just can't see it, because at one point in time, again, it's the streets. At one point in time, you're going to have to cover that bullshit. You're going to have to be able to back that kind of shit up. So that's the only place where I get where, what the hell, you're letting the only thing an old lady should be wearing is a goddamn property patch. But again, I'm older, and that's the way I was raised. Now, I did mention in the earlier days, clubs didn't have, most of these dominants didn't have support clubs. I know when I was with the Predadores, there was no support clubs in Chicago. Now, not official ones where they were wearing all the patches and shit like that. You actually can see in the book, The New Age of Biking Brotherhood, I put some pictures of our patches back then and all that good shit. No, we were aligned with the AOA back then. I wouldn't have called it a support club, but now how things have changed, that's just the way shit goes. Let's see here. Joe Blow, puppet clubs. I don't know, man. Puppet clubs, that's a term that a lot of people use up in Canada. I don't know if you're from Canada, but puppet clubs, I don't know. You go up to some of them boys and call them a puppet club and see what happens. Let's see here. Another good one that came in. From a young man's perspective, I don't think it's appropriate to wear the swastika. If you want to, go ahead. Some people I know have that on their bikes and cuts. I don't comment on it or bitch or whine. It's whatever, I'll eventually phase out. I personally don't understand why you'd want to don that symbol. But again, each to his own, do what you want. And that was actually a pretty good response to that video, because I had to delete a lot of freaking comments out of that one because everybody was going nuts, and you to know it was the younger crew going with that shit. Actually, as one of those videos were going, you just on Insane Throttle, what was happening in Wilson's, one of the guys that were filming the video with the cop in the background, gun out in front of an 8-year-old, the owner's 8-year-old granddaughter, had a Swazi on his fucking jacket or his rags. Now, for those that don't understand swastikas and shit, you gotta go back to the 60s. for that shit, that's when they started popping up in, big numbers. And the reason why it was freaking picked up like that is because you had a bunch of Vietnam veterans coming home. And as they were coming home, you had civilians, you had these hippies, these tree huggers going out there spitting on them, calling them baby killers. So what did they do? They started using the Swazi and all that shit to piss people off. They didn't want civilians near them. They wanted to be left alone. They used it as shock value. Now, if you ever, and a lot of people say, well, they're races and races. Yeah, it's funny. If you watch the 81's Hells Angels Forever video, in there, you got one of the members wearing a swastika on his vest. He was a Jew. I swear to God, if you watch the whole video, you'll find where I'm talking about. He was wearing a Swazi on his vest. And he was a Jew. He was Jewish and he admitted it. So, no, the difference between bikers and these white supremacist guys are very far. Yeah, there's some white supremacists in every fucking group. I'm not gonna fucking sit there and bullshit you and try to lie to you about that. Yeah, there's some out there, and yeah, the club scene is freaking segregated. It is still to this day. There is a lot more mixed clubs coming out. You have some great ones out there. You got freaking Hell's Lovers, you got Chosen Few that are real good groups. But yeah, there's still a great divide within the biker community, and that's just the way it is because the biker clubs are set on a traditional type of path. It's been like that for decades, and a lot of the older guys are like, fuck that, we ain't gonna change. And hey, they put the freaking the work in to do their shit, so let them do it. But yeah, that swastika shit is not all about white pride, man. I got iron crosses on my shit. And, I got my fucking Confederate flags, and mostly with my Confederate flags, I'll never freaking apologize for, because I've actually had two great-great-grandfathers who fought with the Army of Northern Virginia. So, and one of them served in a freaking Union prison camp that got caught. They got caught and put in the, I think it was at Chancellorsville, but I got to look that up. But yeah, I'm never going to be freaking embarrassed to run my fucking flag. No, but the Nazi Swazis, that's shock value, man. That has nothing to do with being racist. The Chingalings out of New York, Google that right now. And hit under images. And you'll see that the Swazi's right there. And you got blacks in there running it. You got Latinos in there running it. And you got everybody in there running that patch. So to go and say, hey, the bikers, they're fucking bastards for wearing that, you gotta know your freaking history. You really do. You gotta study up on, instead of freaking going to, the PC bullshit, you actually got to know what the fuck you're talking about. You got to know your history of the clubs. Let's see here. So, would a former auxiliary police officer count as a former Leo? A well-known one percenter club around my hood had one of those. You got to remember, man, once a cop, always a cop, I always feel. But that's just personal experience because even if they're an ex-cop, you got to remember they're still going to keep their ties to the active duty ones. And that's just something that's really up to, those in the clubs that run it, man. If they feel comfortable with it, it's on them. Again, I don't wear a fucking patch, so what do I care? All I know is the way I was brought up, and the Leos weren't the best thing for a club, man. Because you got to think about it. Let's bring up this kinfolk shit again. They are wearing a 1%er diamond, but are full of cops. Now, a 1%er diamond, you got to back up on the street because you're going to have some shit come down. And there's already been shit that's came down with the kinfolk where they had to defend themselves. Do you really think a cop, even if he's wearing your patch, is going to back you when the shit comes down? He's either gonna freaking, especially a cop who's active duty, because they got their pensions to worry about, they got all other kinds of bullshit to worry about. Do you really think that they're gonna back you when it comes to worrying about their pensions and shit like that? I don't know. I don't think so. And if you know cops, shit, I know they won't. So yeah, I don't know. What's up, H. Smith? How you guys doing? We got Project. What? Let's get back into the chat here. What do we got? We got Tuck in there, man. We got Iron Bassett. Welcome aboard. Project Redfoot. He actually has a channel. You guys want to check that out? Let's see here. Joe Blow. I love it. I've been talking with Joe Blow. It's not his real name, of course, but I love his insights. I've been loving his insights, man. Love talking with you. Let's see here. Tuck. I had a guy try to sell me a patch. He said, we have no other. I need someone here. Scary part, I researched it, and it was a real MC when you get... Oh, my God. See, that's what I don't understand. Yeah, technology is great for... what's going on. Everybody lives by technology now, but you still gotta freaking keep the process going, man. That's just like I told kinfolk in the video. Okay, you're X1 percenters, you were with the banditos and shit like that. What the hell are you doing handing your patches out to just anybody? Again, if you watch that video, you got these guys that, get pissed off, or, their panties get in a twirl, and next thing you know, you see them burning their shit on fucking Facebook. It used to be, if you wanted to, expand and shit like that, there's still the hang around prospect period, man. If a new chapter wanted to come aboard, or a new charter, whatever the hell structure they had, you put them through a hang around period, that chapter. It was usually 6 months to a year. You gave them a set of things that they had to get accomplished, one of them being a clubhouse. Because let's be honest, man, you're not going to be considered a legitimate club unless you have a clubhouse, because you're not staking your claim. And on the street, you got to stake your freaking claim. And we'll talk about clubhouses in a minute. But anyway, you had that 6 months to a year just for them to hang around, see if they're going to make all the events, make your regionals and shit like that, your nationals. And then you had your prospect period where you upped the game a lot more to see what they were about. And that's when you gave them their bottom rocker. You never gave them a fucking full patch right out of the fucking bat. A lot of these new pop-up clubs don't understand, and you got a lot of these that are doing this from the overseas. You have a lot of damn good overseas clubs like the Rebels, or, the Finks that are over there. The Comancheros that have big names in Australia. But here in the U.S., they're like, fuck you, man. It's a joke, because they just hand the patches out. They didn't go through the freaking process. And that's pretty, it's sorry to say, that's fucked up, because they do have them reputations over in Oz. But when they come over here, you got fucking clubs giving patches out to just anybody. So without going through the process, it's like you're going to be a joke. And then you wonder why you got pages that are named after you, the truth pages. We actually did one Iron Order Truth Crew. That's the one I like, because I know the guys behind it, they investigate the shit. They make sure whatever they put out there is true. They dig deep, and I don't know if you guys know that shit. What I can say about the guys behind the page is, because I'm not out in any goddamn buddy. That's their shit. They would do what they want to do. They're active duty club members from 1%er clubs right now. And they're ex-members. And they know the scene. They know what's going on the street. So, yeah, they know what the fuck they're doing over at IOTC. And that's why I gave them a shout out, because, Facebook, with their censorship, had to go and kill their one page where they had 8,000 followers. Now they're starting all over again. So if you haven't checked them out, go over there, check them out. And they've done a really damn good job of making sure to expose these clubs that are accepting pedophiles, man. The pedophiles thing, that's something I just can't stand them motherfuckers. A rat, they deserve a bullet. That's just in my point, because if you get into something, you know damn well ahead of time what you're getting in for. And if you have any type of honor, then you shouldn't be going out there and rat. You have to accept the consequences as a man. But pedophiles, no, you go medieval on them motherfuckers, man. You fucking go day by day. Every time they pass out after the torture session, wake them motherfuckers up for some more. I hate pedophiles. I hate sex offender, the sex abuse people, and especially for the kids and shit like that, man. You start going and fucking with a kid, you're nothing but a weak ass motherfucker in my eyes. So, for a club to accept them kind of people, you fucked up. Those guys in the joint, and when they go to the joint, you know what happens to them motherfuckers in the joint. But for legitimate clubs, or even illegitimate clubs to accept pedophiles, that's just fucked up. Just, there's no fucking defending you. There's no fucking saying anything nice about you. You fucked up. And if they did slip through the fucking creek, or the cracks, then take care of your business, man. Get rid of the motherfuckers. Because a motorcycle club's supposed to be about family. So, I'm a part of a motorcycle club. Do you really think I'm going to have a fucking pedophile around my kids and my grandkids? Hell fucking no. I don't care if you're wearing the same patch as me or not. If you were convicted as a pedophile or some shit, you'd be lucky to get... No, you wouldn't come near me. I wouldn't fucking even give you a vote for hang around, period, man. Let's see here. Let's see. Dirty D's. You gotta check out Dirty D's. He's also got a channel, man. I love Dirty D's shit. Let's see. Law of diminishing returns. Open it up too much and eventually, or you're letting dirtbags just to get numbers. You know what, D? You are correct. And a lot of these clubs don't understand. They want to be the next 81, Outlaws, Mongols, what have you. But those clubs have been around for decades. And you notice they don't have to go on the internet to fucking recruit. No, they did it the right way. They kept the process in there. And they made sure they had a reputation. Now, what kind of... Is Kinfolk going to be around in 5 years? Guaranteed it's not. It's falling apart now from what I understood. A lot of their national or so-called nationals are going, blah, 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 whatever. But no, their reputation is shit. Are they going to be around? I don't think so, man. You can't be around with fucking pedophiles in there. You can't be around when you're shooting into an SUV with 2 fucking kids in the car like they did down in Florida. No, that brings too much heat and shit like that. Now, if I were them, I'd fucking cut out all the bullshit, man, and get back to business where this is the way we're going to do shit and try to reclaim your reputation. Can it be reclaimed? It's on them, man. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. Let's see here. Clubhouses. They wanted to know why I think you need a clubhouse. Well, a clubhouse settles you in. And let's be honest, a clubhouse is going to make you money. Your bar, it's like having a bar. And it's a place for your guys to go and crash when it needs to be, and to have some hell of a fucking parties, man. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for a clubhouse, you wouldn't be having that much fun unless it's at a goddamn member's house or some shit. But clubhouses, especially for the national type organizations, you have your bunkhouses back for your other guys, and it really brings the lifestyle to you. It wakes you up. That's where the family shit comes from. Let's see here. Billy Stephen Worthy, tree huggers, and at the airport is what in 73 couldn't make it through any without being accosted. Damn, Billy. If you're saying you're Vietnam vet, man, first of all, thanks for serving, and you guys went through some fucking hell in Vietnam. I know there's the World War II vets and the different conflict vets and shit like that, but the Vietnam vets, them guys were, those were my idols, man. Those were my heroes. Because that was a definition of a man to me. Was them Vietnam guys, and I was so goddamn lucky to be brought up in the club scene by the Vietnam vets. And they taught me more about life, and I'm not just talking about club shit, man. They taught me more about life than I've ever knew. And a lot of them are still around right now. And if you have a chance, especially if you're in a national club, go hang around the older guys. The older guys will give you all kinds of freaking and all kinds of advice. And if they were in Vietnam, they're gonna tell you straight the fuck up the way life really is. But I really do feel sorry for the vets, man, that went through Vietnam. Now, I know I had a video on earlier this week where I banged on the Millennium Generation. Well, we had that MP3 that came in to us, and we put it on. We found out it was from DD the Fireman. He has a YouTube channel. And it was the younger generation's thought towards bikers, the older guys. Let's just say that one blew up. But I can't really, put them all in one basket. Because you know what? We had the Iraq War, and we still have the Afghan War going on. And it's them kids right now that are fighting them wars for us. So you got to give them freaking props. Yeah, they're picked on as being a lazy generation and shit, but the ones that are out there doing what they need to be doing, they are a bunch of good kids. What else we got here? Respect the veterans. You're damn right, Iron. Base Connor, but it is the Nazi party everyone connects it to. Yeah, it's actually interesting. The Swazi been around for thousands of years, and it was actually a peace symbol until that bastard Hitler got it. And let me tell you, aside from the biker shit, okay, because I know the reason why we have the shit with the Swazis and the Iron Cross and the biker scene, but apart from that, Hitler, he was a punk bitch, man. He's a fucking coward. I cannot relate to that motherfucker at all. I don't like him. I don't like any propaganda on the motherfucker. I can't see the white supremacist bullshit side having that motherfucker as a hero. And here's why. There was fucking hundreds of thousands of fucking U.S. soldiers that died fighting that bastard to bring that son of a bitch down. And there was millions of people in World War II that died because of that bastard and his fucking henchmen. So no, I'm not into the Nazi bullshit or the white supremacy crap. That's not me, never will be. No. Because I don't understand where you can idolize a guy like that and say you're fucking a proud American. I just can't see where it comes from. I don't understand the logic in that. If you're a proud American, but you're over there, say you're a civilian, you're a proud American, but you're over there fucking Heil Hitler and raising your goddamn fucking hand in the air and goose stepping. What kind of fucking person are you, man? You ain't a fucking American. How many of our boys died on Omaha fucking beach? How many fucking died over at the Battle of the Bulge? How many died in Ardennes, man? It's like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Seriously? And you want to call yourself a fucking American, but go over there and goose step and fucking show a fucking Heil Hitler sign, man? Yeah, fuck that bullshit. Dad was an Army U.S.-Korean War veteran. Well, thank you for that, Iron, and make sure you tell him I said thank you from Insane Throttle. Korea, man, that truly is the forgotten war. And that was one that was ran by MacArthur until they messed that up. But that's where, goddamn, man, that war is still resonating today, as you see. Yeah, the U.S. Nazi stuff is anti-American. Supporting one of them, show your pride in a better way. You're goddamn right, DD. Again, I don't understand people who freaking goose step and fucking show that Heil Hitler sign. Especially, yeah, I don't get that, man. Is it shock value for them? I don't fucking know, but they take it to a whole goddamn different level, man. They read that My Kampf bullshit and all that kind of crap. Vietnam vets are tough, but the WW2 vets were the toughest. Well, you know what? Yeah, Vietnam vets are tough, but those kids, and that's what they were. Everybody has to remember that. During World War II, those were kids. They were 18. 19 years old, man. And they were going, and back then, they were going, because the warfare was a lot different. You had mass carpet bombings back then. You had conditions in which they had to fight. I don't think has been replicated here since then. Yeah, the Vietnam War was more of a jungle guerrilla warfare type of one. And for those who were Vietnam, correct me if wrong, but I'm just going off of reports, of history reports. But World War II, man, you had open freaking battles, man. You had the conditions were ripe. Just look at the Battle of the Bulge, what they had to go through. So yeah, they're really freaking. They were some tough boys, man. And those were kids. They had that shit together, and it's the greatest generation that ever will be. I remember, because all my grandparents are dead now, and I can the shit they had to go through. Like my one grandfather was a coal miner, died in '69. He born in 1917. Rough as fucking nails, man. Them coal miners are, and their generation just looked at life a whole different way than we do now. And I think that's why this country was so great back then, is because of these guys, that generation. There's never ever going to be another one like them. I truly believe that. I don't think my generation even comes close. You know what? After the Vietnam and the Korean generation dies off, I don't think there's going to be a generation like those boys were. World War II vets thought that stuff home after they took a. You're damn right. They did do that shit, man. They're socialists. Hey, what's up, Dibs? How you doing, buddy? Caused the deaths of millions. He also. Damn right. The socialists that wave the. You're damn right. You know what? Dibs. Holy shit. Dibs brings up a goddamn good thing going on right now in this country. And I'm glad you brought this shit up, Dibs, while we're on it. The hammer and the sickle. I know you older people know what that is. But now you got these kids, these college kids, they're called Antifa, running around with the old Soviet Union flags. And I do not think they understand how fucked up that flag really is. When I was growing up as a kid, we were always worrying about the missiles flying over our heads. But in the country, the Eastern Bloc, they used to call it, many people don't understand the Soviets, they held all the way up to Germany, man. They were all over that fucking place. And I think Dibs, he can actually give the viewpoint of UK, because he's over in the UK, he's overseas. But the Soviets, it was some nasty shit back then, man. And the Stalin and those dictators, they killed millions of fucking people. It's unfucking real. But now we got these college kids in the United States running around freaking looking at the sickle and bar, or the sickle and hammer is one of their fucking shit. And the new poll out here in the state is a lot of these millennials want socialism over freaking capitalism. That's our educational system for us, man. That is just wow. Let's see here. Billy Steven, my grandfather was a landing craft pilot in the Pacific all the way through the invasion of Japan. Rock on, man. Fucking A. Executed 100,000 of his own in the gulags. Yeah, them fucking Stalin dictators were nothing to joke about, man. So when you got college professors out there actually telling these kids to go do that kind of bullshit is beyond me. But any other questions before I closed up? I know I've been going off for a long time. What do we got, 49 minutes here? So hopefully I was able to get your questions covered from this week's videos. And if you got questions that you want me to address on the live, because we're going to be doing the live every Saturday at 9:30. I know, again, I was late on this one, but send them over to me, man. I'll address some on the air. Let's see here. Socialism divides for power. They don't care about race. You know what? Mr. Free's right, man. You always notice in these socialist countries that the ones who are trying to push the socialist bullshit are the rich ones, and then you got all these poor ones. That South American country is going down the fucking tubes, man. They're eating rats right now. Still have a couple of World War II vets around. Yeah, Paul, you know what? The sad part of that is, shit, in the next 10 years, man, we're going to lose our greatest generation. It's sad to see because I love talking to them guys, and, you know, goddamn, they were fucking great people. At one of our posts, rock and roll, Paul. Rock and roll. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, if you don't have any other questions, don't forget, man. All the proceeds for this, the new Age of Biking and Brotherhood, are going towards Motorcycle Madhouse. My plan for Motorcycle Madhouse is I want to do a 5-day a week, from 9 to 5, or 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, at least an hour session. And I want to build up the show, and you know what? It's huge right now. Where I think after 30 episodes, we had 1 million downloads or some shit like that. I have got contacted from some, stations and shit like that, but they didn't want it all bike related. They just like how I perform the show, and it's like, fuck you. I'm not selling out. I'm not like that. And also, I've had others that wanted me to do documentaries. I don't do that bullshit. If I do it, I do shit under Insane Throttle Biker News because I'm a advocate for clubs, and I'm not gonna be out there freaking. I'm not out there to fucking push anybody else's viewpoint. Give a 2-hour interview. Next thing you know, only 30 seconds of it shows up. But with the Motorcycle Madhouse, what I'm trying to do is get a serious station, So, that's what I'm doing right now is building on that. And of course, we got the biker angle. But with that, guys, if there's nothing else, I enjoyed hanging out. I love all the questions. Love all the support we get from the channel. And remember, go check out DD or Dirty D's website. You also got Project Redfoot. And you got Dibs in the Wind. You also got Black Dragon out there. Don't forget about him. Go look at his shit. So if you want, go on our page over on HarleyLiberty.com. You'll be able to see all the YouTube channels under the biker related stuff. And go ahead and click it on there. If you do have a YouTube channel and you want it, if it's biker related, you can send it to me, the banner, and I'll put you up there right now. So, but with that, I will talk to you all later. And you guys enjoy the weekend and be safe on them scooters out there, man. But I'll see you next week.